Do you ever find yourself asking questions such as, how do I level up in my 20s? Where do I start? These are very essential questions to ask yourself, my dear. On today's video, we are going to be discussing about that. Keep watching. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Gladys Karobia. I hope you're all doing well. On today's video, we are going to be talking about how to level up in our 20s. With that being said, let's go and start the video. The number one way you can level up in your 20s is to learn a skill. You can just sit down by yourself and ask yourself, what is this thing that I'm so passionate about? Sometimes you will not really get an answer immediately, but we all have that thing that you really want to do. Let's say, for instance, someone might say, I am really passionate about wanting to know how to do makeup. You can go ahead, or maybe you go on YouTube. There are people out there who are teaching you from scratch how to go about it, and you can find yourself learning, and then you start experimenting, maybe even with your face, and then you start offering these services maybe to your friends on free, and then you find yourself that right now you are even charging because you become so good at it. You have a skill. So whether you are employed or not employed, you do have something that you can do for yourself to get that extra coins. Of course, it doesn't have to only be makeup. There are so many skills. If, for example, you're passionate about anything, even if you go on Google and search it, you're going to find a lot of guidance. So this is a time where you're supposed to really invest in learning a skill, something that you can call yours. The second way to level up in your 20s is to educate yourself. Educating yourself comes in so many ways. I can recommend reading books. For me, I find that reading books really helps to open up your thinking. It helps to become an open-minded person. You don't even take things personal. They just boost you so much in so many ways. And then another way you can even educate yourself is maybe listening to podcasts, because a lot of people, I can't really say everyone, but some people don't like reading, which is very much okay. It just depends on how you want to learn or how you want to educate yourself. So if you're not really the kind of person who will just take a book and start reading from page to page until you finish the book, then you can go ahead and start listening to things like podcasts. You can go ahead on YouTube and just listen to something that's gonna make you feel better, something that will open up your mind, because actually I've been listening to a lot of YouTube videos, and whenever I'm listening even to more successful people when they're being interviewed, they all have this one thing in common. Mostly all of them, they always say that they keep on educating themselves. They always mention reading, and these are very successful people. They always mention they do read, they educate themselves. It's a non-stop journey. You just have to keep on educating yourself. The third way to level up in your 20s is to learn about money and budgeting. I'm not really a financial expert when it comes to all things money, but I do have this one book. I've read it 3 times right now. The book is called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This book guides you with everything you need to know about being financially literate. It talks about how money works, the thoughts we have about money, which is not even the way you're supposed to think about money. It guides you on how you can budget your money. And in our 20s, this is a period where you're supposed to focus on maybe a little bit of savings, because we all have rainy days, and budgeting your money. When you have 1,000, this is where you're going to place your money. You don't want to be the type of a person when you have 1,000, all you're thinking of is shopping and just thrift spending. You want to be able to be disciplined with your money. You want to know how to be able to manage your money, so that when you know how to handle little amount of money, even when you have huge amount of money, you will be able to put that money into proper use or proper management. The fourth way to level up in your 20s is to choose your friends wisely. You know that saying that goes like this: show me your friends and I'll tell you the kind of a person you are. It kind of takes me back to when I really used to argue with this statement. I used to be like, no, but even if you hang out with people who are doing wrong things, you can be able to make your own decisions. But no, that's not usually the case, because in one way or the other, the people you are surrounding yourself with, or rather the people that you are friends with, they will influence you in one way or the other. So make sure the people you are choosing to be your friends, you are just uplifting and building each other. You know, there are people you can hang out with, or there are people maybe you call your friends, and whenever you are with them, you feel so drained. They constantly put you down, and you even wonder, are these really my friends? So in this your 20s, this beautiful age, our 20s, make sure you are surrounding yourself with people who are uplifting you. And not only uplifting you, you are uplifting each other. You're pouring onto each other. You are helping each other to grow. Because think about it. The people who are very, very successful, they always hang out with people who are successful, because every time they meet, it's all about leveling up. It's all about exchanging ideas and becoming better every day. Where in other case, when you meet these people who are just mediocre in everything they do, whenever they meet, it's all about talking about other people. It's just about negativity, and you're constantly feeling drained. In our 20s, I know this is a time where sometimes you feel like you need a number of friends. Like, for example, let's take a look at social media, where you might go and you find this group of friends. They went on a staycation or vacation. It's okay, it's fun, and it looks so good. But ask yourself, do you really need that? Do you really need 20 or 30 plus friends, of people you are saying, these are my friends? How can you even say that you have 20 plus close friends? For me, that's not friendship. You don't need a lot of people who you are calling friends. You just need a small circle of people you genuinely know that they are your friends. People who root for you and people who you root for them. Because it's two-way traffic. You have to be rooting for each other. People who have your back behind your back. People who every time you meet each other, it's about leveling up. No drama, no mediocrity, no putting each other down. You're just leveling up every single time you're with each other. So make sure your circle is small. Evaluate your friend if you have to. Cut off people you feel like they do not even deserve that title of friendship in your life. The fifth way to level up in your 20s is to set boundaries. Boundaries are just walls to protect yourself. Knowing what you allow and don't allow in your life is key. You can't be okay with everything. You've got to learn to say no. But it's very, very hard to say no, especially all you've ever known in your life is saying yes to everything. Let's say you're this kind of a person that every time someone is requesting you to do something, even if deep down you don't want to do it, you're always saying yes. You're saying yes with thoughts like, I don't want them to think I'm a bad person. I don't want them to view me as if I'm not really a helping friend. I don't want them to hate me. I don't want them to start talking negatively about me. You are literally setting yourself on fire to keep other people warm. And in the end, you're just creating non-stop fights in your head like, why did I even accept to do that and I didn't want to do it? So learn how to say no. If you don't want to do something, let someone know. And don't assume that someone knows your boundaries when you have not communicated them. If you do not like someone when they raise their voice while they're talking at you, let them know you don't appreciate them raising their voice when they're talking to you. If you don't like someone showing up in your house unannounced, let them know that showing up in your house unannounced, you do not really appreciate that. Sometimes most people will not really agree with this. Other people will view you as if you're a difficult person, but still stand firm with your boundaries, because you'll just be losing people who are not supposed to be in your life anyways. Because if someone cannot respect your boundaries, what are they doing in your life? Because I will respect your boundaries and you also have to respect mine. So in your 20s, learn to set boundaries. It takes time. I know it's hard at first to even say that no for the very first time. Like someone asked you to do something and you don't want to do it, and you've never declined anything, and then you find yourself saying no. They want an explanation. I don't want to do it. It's hard. but once you start doing it, you'll feel so good about yourself. You'll feel like, oh my god, I'm finally owning my life, I'm finally protecting my space and my peace. So when you constantly do this, it will help you to really feel good about yourself. The sixth way to level up in your 20s is to explore yourself. Exploring yourself is to digging deep to know who you really are. In your 20s, sometimes you find that you're caught up in the dating site and all of that excitement. But do you really take time to really know who you are? Do you really take your time to know, who am I? What makes me excited? What triggers me? What sets me on fire? What makes me so alive? What is that thing that I do that makes me feel so good about myself? What do I dislike? You just go deep into getting to know yourself, so that if someone comes to you and asks you, but who are you? You might be able to answer that question. Because sadly, so many people really, if you ask them, who are you? Or, okay, let's say there's a person I'm meeting and then I'm like, okay, who are you? Most people really cannot answer this question, and it's really sad. And you find that in your 20s, now this is when you want to explore another person, and yet you don't even know who you really are as a person. That's why you find even you're just banging each other's heads, because you have not fully understood who you are as a person. So in your 20s, let this be a time where you are dedicating to know yourself, to know what excites you, to know what you love doing for fun, to really know yourself inside and out before you go out there and start wanting to explore another person. The seventh way to level up in your 20s is to take risks. Of course, I'm not telling you to go out there and be reckless with your life or do whatever in the name of I'm just taking risk. I'm in my 20s anyway and all of that. No, take risks, but take calculated risk, because we all know everything we do has consequences, of course, but don't limit yourself, okay? If you want to do something, if you want to try out something, go ahead and try it. If you're passionate about something but you don't really know whether it's gonna go well, or you don't really know what will happen, sometimes you just have to give things a shot and see what will happen. Because for me, sometimes I'm just like, whether it works out or not, as long as I tried, for me, that's enough for me. Because it's never that serious at the end of the day, and nothing can ever substitute experience. So go out there and take risks. The eighth way to level up in your 20s is to learn discipline. Actually, discipline applies in every age. It doesn't matter whether you are in your 20s, 30s, 40s, or whatever age bracket you are at. Discipline applies everywhere in life. But it's very important to learn how to be disciplined in your 20s. What is this thing that you really want to do? Will the task require you to wake up much earlier? Let's say, for instance, you are juggling between school and work. You're trying to balance your school work and you're trying to balance work. Of course, those two things will require you to wake up early. Let's say you're trying to work out. Personally, I don't really like working out, but the after feeling I get after I do it, that's what makes me happy. But the thought of me waking up, I have to work out, sometimes really it makes me feel like, oh my god, but I really want to sleep. And that is where discipline comes in. You have to do it even when you don't feel like doing it. You have to let discipline be your driving force. You know what I'm saying? You have to let that I don't feel like doing it. If you are not disciplined, every time you won't really do anything. You will just be finding excuses after excuses. Because discipline helps us to create routines, and these routines, they become our habits, and these habits become who we are. So make sure in your 20s you are so disciplined. We don't have a lot of responsibilities in our 20s. Yes, the responsibilities are there, but it's not like when you are like in your 40s, because if you can't really master discipline in your 20s, just imagine how it's gonna be for you when maybe you're in your 30s or 40s. So let's take this period to learn how to be disciplined. And the last but not the least way to level up in your 20s is to have fun. Go out there and have fun. Explore, go on dates, but of course be careful, don't be reckless, because at the end of the day, remember, everything has consequences, but do not limit yourself. explore, go out there and have fun. Whether you love skating, whether you love going out, go out there and just live your life to the fullest. We will never go back to our 20s. You don't want to be in your 30s and you're just like, oh my god, I wish I could go back to my 20s and do this and that. I don't know why I didn't do it. I really wanted to do it in my 20s. I really didn't make the best out of that period of my life. I want to go back, but you can't really go back. So explore yourself, have fun. It's never that serious at the end of the day. And you want to fill your life with experiences. I want to look at my 20s when I'm in my 30s and be like, wow, you did it, girl, you did it. I don't want to be like, oh my god, I wish I did this. I wish I could just take one step back and do what I wanted to do. It's your life. Go out there and live your life and make it the best story ever written. And that was it for today's video, guys. I really hope this video was helpful. Please click on that like button down below. Also subscribe to my channel if you haven't. It really helps with YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye.